Well, we want to give you another live look at that roadblock on I-70 Jason was just talking about, where you can see semi trucks pulled over for miles, really waiting for that highway to reopen. This is just east of Aurora, but that closure continues all the way to the Kansas line. Here's a close-up photo of the crashes that led to that shutdown yesterday. Troopers tweeted these from the scene. 9 semis, 12 other cars also involved. Despite how bad it looks, though, surprisingly, there were no injuries. So your drive won't look that bad today, hopefully, but there is plenty of slush and ice out there. I had to take it slow coming in from the South Metro this morning. It's the neighborhood streets that are still tough too.
Yeah, and it makes your car just dirty, you know, the
Right.
salt and the snow, everything. Well, let's get a real-time look now with Denver 7's Veronica Acosta. She's in the Ken Carroll community in Jefferson County.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Jessica. We want to give you a look at what exactly we're looking at here in this Ken Carroll neighborhood. This is Garrison. We just passed Euclid coming up onto Flower. You can see the roadways. This isn't the worst that we've seen all morning long. Less snow on these roadways here on this particular street. You can tell a plow came through here at some point fairly recently. We have seen other neighborhoods across the metro where you can, you kind of have to really drive through it and trek through the snow. This really isn't the case. We'll give you a ground view of what you can kind of see lower, closer to the ground. It's fine. You can tell that there's a little bit of ice under that snowpack, and of course there's some snow off to the shoulders of the road as well, because again, that plow came through and pushed some of that off. Jason mentioned the sunlight and how really that is the hope that it'll kind of melt some of this snow and eventually some of the ice. I bet that's what a lot of people in these neighborhoods are hoping for, especially if they haven't seen a plow. Some of those smaller streets, those definitely have not been plowed like we had seen earlier. And even here in the Ken Carroll area, it seems some of these major neighborhood streets, they've been plowed, but some of those smaller ones just haven't. And that really is going to be the concern this morning. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Veronica. Well, Denver's transportation department is saying their plow teams are working in 12-hour shifts trying to clear the residential streets, the side streets, and they hope to make 2 or 3 passes by the end of the day.
I think what's important to realize is that the residential plows will shave off the top few inches of snow. They won't bring the street to bare pavement, but they do a great job of helping clear a path to the main streets and preventing deep ice ruts from forming. And that,
yeah, still may be slick with that layer of ice, and on most streets, Dottie plows right down the middle of the road, so there's usually just one lane for passing. South of Telluride, the town of Ophir was without power most of the day yesterday. The San Miguel Power Association is now working to dig out the power system after an avalanche buried it. They say a tree also fell on power lines. Crews did have the power fully restored in about 8 hours.
Get the latest weather updates sent straight to your phone by downloading the Denver7 News app. You can do that by scanning the QR code that's on your screen right now with your smartphone. The Denver7 News app is free in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says a man is out of the hospital after claiming his food was poisoned with rat poison at a Centennial Taco Bell. Deputies say the customer was arguing with employees at the drive-thru Sunday afternoon after learning the soda machine wasn't working. Well, once he got his food, he drove off from the Taco Bell at Smoky Hill and Buckley. Investigators say about 7 hours later, the man was in the hospital claiming that he was poisoned. Now detectives are reviewing surveillance video to see if anything was put into that customer's food. In a statement, Taco Bell says that it is cooperating with the investigation.
Broomfield High School's football coach is on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of an investigation. The school principal sent an email to parents and staff to inform them Blair Hubbard was put on administrative leave back on December 15th. The school declined to provide any additional information, so still a lot of mystery surrounding the circumstances. But last month, Hubbard led the team to their first 4A state title since 1984 and was named the Broncos 2022 High School Coach of the Year. A public library in Littleton is the latest to close for methamphetamine contamination in its restrooms. The Bemis Library says testing was done out of an abundance of caution. Meth had forced the Boulder, Maine Public Library to close in December and Inglewood's library to close earlier this month.
Denver police say that 22-year-old Oliver Martinez has turned himself in for the January 6th crash, where police say Martinez intentionally ran down 4 people in downtown. DPD says it all started with an argument before Martinez hit the 4 pedestrians near 18th and Wazee Streets, then took off. He's facing 2 counts of first-degree assault, serious bodily injury, and 2 counts of second-degree assault. Good news for Xcel customers with natural gas. It'll be going down starting next month. That's due to a drop in wholesale natural gas prices. Xcel submitted a price adjustment to the Public Utilities Commission this week. Xcel Energy passes the cost that they pay for gas along to the customer without a markup. So when their prices go down, your bill drops too.
More than 2 years after Coloradans voted to reintroduce wolves, the state has a draft plan and now wants your opinion on it. Colorado Parks and Wildlife says some wolves and at least 1 pack from Wyoming have already made their way to Colorado. But Prop 114 from 2020 requires wolf reintroduction by the end of the year. So CPW is hosting public meetings in the 4 corners of the state.
How do you envision opinions might change at these public meetings dependent on where they are, like the Springs versus Denver versus Western Slope?
Yeah, I mean, you did see with the voting, there were different opinions in different parts of the state, holding 4 different hearings in 4 different parts of the state to make sure that we're gathering that input. And we also have the public comment form on our website. You can go to engagecpw.org and voice your comments there.
The current plan calls for 30 to 50 wolves to be reintroduced in the state over the next 3 to 5 years. They will be tagged and tracked. The first public meeting is today in Colorado Springs.
The Colorado Department of Health Care Policies says not-for-profit hospitals in Colorado accumulated more than $900 million in lieu of paying taxes last year. The state criticizes those hospitals, saying that money should be put towards lowering patient cost. The Colorado Hospital Association and hospitals like UC Health are pushing back, saying the data is misleading. UC Health tells Denver7 that the state is cherry-picking data and that the hospital's, quote, financial situation has changed significantly from the numbers listed in the report. They add since 2021, operating margins have dropped considerably because of inflation and wage increases. Our Denver7 investigative team is digging deeper into the state's reports and the pushback from the hospitals. You can see a write-up on the state's report on Denver7.com right now. New this morning, nearly half of U.S. adults say the nation's healthcare system has, quote, major problems. That's according to the latest Gallup report. For the first time in a 20-year period, the number of adults who rated the system as poor jumped above 20%. Those who rated the quality of the U.S. healthcare system as excellent or good dropped below 50%. Satisfaction has remained high among adults ages 55 and up, but declined among young and middle-aged adults.
Thousands of applications were turned in for Colorado's universal preschool program, maybe more than the state expected. The changes one local preschool is making for their incoming families.
And where did your money go? Why Bank of America and the money transfer company Zelle are being accused of fraud.